The NotaBle Acts MainStage thing came together, and then it was suddenly like, okay, let's nail this thing down. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we did.
We listened to a podcast about it. And then Ian and I went to Boston on a trip, and we went to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and then we learned a ton more about it, and we got more and more obsessed. We saw the paintings that were still there, and we saw these empty frames that are still there with a thing underneath that says, like, Christ in the storm on the Sea of Galilee. We hope that it is returned soon. They're just waiting for the paintings to come back. So we became obsessed with that.
Of course, part of that story is the founder of the museum itself, Isabella Stewart Gardner, and her life is very interesting around the turn of the century in Boston, kind of a socialite, art collector, so we wanted to also dip into her story. So it's a tale about the night of the heist, or what might have happened on the night of the heist, and it jumps back in time to Isabella Stewart Gardner's life. So it weaves between those two seamlessly.
Our company, Falling Iguana Theatre, is about making physical theatre stories. So then it's about finding the stories we want to tell that lend themselves to movement. Mm-hmm. And this piece jumps across space and time a lot. As Ian said, there's two timelines, and we fly through space. So it's fun and compelling to tell that with physicality.
Like Alexa said, we listened to the podcast. We went to Boston, where a bunch of my family are. We saw the museum. It was amazing. And I think it was Alexa's original seed of an idea. And we were like, we could write a show. This is very interesting. Like 81 minutes, that's a good length for a play. And so during the pandemic in Toronto, we were kind of bouncing around our apartment, not being able to find the space or the energy to sit down and write. We knew the ideas, we talked about it, but it was just so hard to write. And luckily we were privileged enough to be able to stay in beautiful Bellier's Cove on the Washamoak Lake with my family, and we sat there on the deck looking at this lake and just spent 2 weeks, and we wrote like 75 pages, just like scenes. And then it kind of sat for like 7 months, and we were like, we're going to get back to it. And it never happened. And then, a deadline is very good to make you finish something. Well, in New Brunswick, we worked with a company called The Coop, Solo Chicken Productions, Coop. And I know for me personally, that's where I dipped my toe into the physical theater world, and learned that, theater and acting can exist below the neck. So much of performance is focused on voice and text and up here, which is extremely important, of course, but you can tell so much story with your body and how it interacts with other bodies and how it interacts with the stage. And we just love making art in that way, a very, holistic view of using a person's body in space.
It's a story that's very scripted, and the physicality comes into place because we're all playing at least 4 characters each. So there's different sort of ways we stand and hold our bodies as we tell the story. But there's a lot of text, there's like a lot of scenes that you would see in any other play, but we just sort of extend the movement and we just play around with the size. But it's not dance and it's not mime, it's theater. It's just a little bit bigger, and it's very funny.
We very much trust the audience to get what we're going for. And there are some leaps that we ask them to take with us, and they will, because it's really entertaining. It's not some like stodgy kind of art piece. We want to entertain, and we want to tell this story And if the greater ideas and themes of, society come from that, that's great. But at its core, it is a very entertaining, fast-paced story. Yeah. Alexa and myself are in it. And we also have Jean-Michel Cliche, Neomi Iancu Haliva, and Jilly Hanson. It's a 5-person cast, playing a lot of roles, a lot of switching off, but they're great to work with.
We're thrilled, we'll start by saying, to be part of Notable Acts.
Yeah.
We have both been in a few main stages and different types of shows throughout the years, and we have a lot of love for the festival. Last year, during the pandemic, we chatted briefly with Len about potentially bringing Diana, our two-hander physical theater piece, to New Brunswick at some point. But the pandemic kind of overtook the festival, as you may recall. So we continued writing our new show, 81 Minutes, and then we did a We did a reading, a virtual reading, with some friends, and a lot of them were from New Brunswick, and some of them were on the board, and so they chatted with the rest of the board about the show, and they were excited about it. And yeah, Len seemed really excited about it too. We shared the script with him. We chatted about what we need, which is very simple props, basically, and some lighting. And yeah, so it didn't work out last year, but it worked out for the best because we're really excited about this new show. Yeah.